Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Associated Guests. Back from a much longer hiatus than I had fully intended. Um, I actually meant to stream on the weekend, but starting Sunday, I don't know. Bad teeth run in my family, at least on the one side, and I've had the other side's teeth up until about 3 years ago. And then no matter how much you brush, floss, water pick, Listerine rinse, eat better foods for you, drink less soda or none, nothing helps. So, dentist appointment today. I'm on a lot of over-the-counter painkillers right now. No Hydra, nothing. But yeah, anyway. Sorry it's been so long. We'll try to recoup as much as we can.
Appreciative today. A lot of perhaps young Gen Z folks of how bad things got. I'd say it was really bad kind of that last term of Obama all the way up to and through the first year of COVID. It kind of came back with a vengeance under Biden because Obama, I repeat myself, wokeness, peak wokeness.
You remember
like
woke?
Cuties on Netflix, Dear White People. Do you remember actually when people say, nothing's better, everything's the same? You comment, do you remember how bad woke was? And if many of you, as I suspect, have forgotten, it's time for a new segment that we're going to be doing with great regularity. Remember woke?
It's still here. It's in the house.
Climate change is having a disproportionate effect on black communities.
Yeah, climate change is having a disproportionate effect in black communities. What does that fucking phrase even mean?
And today, I just every now and then go back and I go, oh wait, that's right. People that are trying to push this. Here's Tom Hardy, great actor, and it really was disappointing. I know he does jujitsu, seems like a decent guy. Came across a clip. He was detailing how he did the Bane voice.
Yes, it doesn't matter who we are. What matters is our
Use
plan.
the term. You may have forgotten it. Latinx. Remember that?
You should have respected our authority.
Did Tom Hardy do the Bane voice?
Bane quintessentially is Latinx in many of origin of a character, and I'm.
There is no such thing as Latinx. Okay? Gendered languages exist, and you cannot and should not change the entirety of an entire fucking language, let alone a whole subset of languages, to appease less than 1% of a populace. Fuck off. The world's not about you. Get over yourself.
I'm not. So I looked at the concept.
And to the overprivileged honkies, suburbanites or hill dwellers, and not the ones who are known to come from my state, the hill people, the hillbillies, as it were. No. The people who live upon the hill. You see, they live over there on the hill. They don't live upon this hill.
Of Latin.
What was he doing in his shirt? What was he fumbling around? These guys.
He's of Latinx descent. I'm not. I'm fine with, appropriation, but
Right.
I've got to get the language right.
So I decided to go with Sean Connery meets Romanian gypsy.
At no point did I watch that movie and think, it's Julio.
Right, yeah.
No.
You know, Latinx, I use it.
It doesn't matter who we are. What matters is literally just the same voice he uses as Alfie, but a little more nuts.
You see the connection?
Nothing even.
Speak of the devil,
Less
and
than
he shall
4%
appear.
of Latinas use Latinx. 75%, last time they polled, said it should not be used. It should not be used.
0.1% of all Hispanics even know what the fuck Latinx is.
Not that.
It's made up by bougie-ass white people trying to spread their idea of how the world should work.
They don't use it.
It should
don't
not.
use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are people that don't speak other Romance languages. They don't understand gender.
They screwed up. This was pushed by white liberals.
Yes.
There were some Hispanics. Sure, you found a few token Hispanics
Yeah.
who were. You found a few fat Latinas who
Suburbanites.
Don't fetishize us. Yeah, because no one is.
Yeah, a big
So,
fat honking
they
Latina
trusted-
that's
think
like,
of Romance
I'm
language. They
they.
tried to push
I
this
agree with you,
on
Optimus
a language
Prime.
that is unbelievably gendered grammatically.
Yes.
Right? Any of the Romance languages. And then with a deeply Catholic people. You couldn't have gotten this more wrong. Here's an interview to Eva Longoria, though. In Hollywood, there's a complete disconnection. Just see these people and Hispanic Americans. She sat for an interview about the erasure of Latinx in film. This is how bad woke got.
If you live in Alabama in a town that does not have a Latino, you are educated by movies. But what's even more damaging is it educates our community about who we are. So if our young Latinos and Latinas and Latinx people only see...
Why is it... Look, I understand if you speak that way all the time, but if you don't have any kind of Hispanic accent, unless you're saying Latino or Latinx, you're no different than the cracker on the news that says, you know, I'm going out tonight and I'm going to have tacos. You know what I'm saying? It's condescending and it's retarded.
That representation on screen.
Oh my God, I'm out here with all these Latinas.
So much. You know, I don't know a lot about Latinx House, but it's amazing.
It doesn't exist.
So I'm not the person to talk on it. There's a space,
and yet you're going to continue to talk on it.
Bringing in speakers, and we just hosted Latinx just hosted the CHC, who came into town.
But when's the last time you heard Latinx used? Ever? They really tried to push it. I did a video where I actually went through drive-through and just asked people like Latinx, and they're like, no, wait, I don't use.
I wish it was a term that we use for, like, you know, Black Twitter.
Yeah.
I wish it was like it's Hispanic Twitter, like Latinx.
Yeah, Latinx.
I just hear the term and I think of Hank Azaria as the pool boy.
He had something
you
there.
forgot the shrimps.
I don't like the juice.
The funny thing is you can see them talking and you can see them stumbling.
He's talking about the birdcage. I love that movie.
I don't Latinx, and then later on he goes, Latin people. You can see them tripping because it's a new term that's made up. Nobody asked for it. It's not necessary. It was a way of trying to control you through controlling your language, including making shit up. Here's another one. America Ferrer, ironically named America. She questions here in this.
Look at this, guys. Okay. This is cope, okay? So this right here is people actively contaminating the water of the reflecting pool and pulling up the sealant from the bottom because it's not that deep. And they're getting arrested for defacing public property. Because of course they are. They're being caught in the act. And Krasenstein, being the great fucking brain that he is. Sorry, I'm... a lot of painkillers today, so I'm a bit aggro. I apologize. If you touch water, you're apprehended by the police. That's not what's happening. That is not what is happening. They search you because it's weird that you're sitting there dabbling and dumping things into the water, which you're not allowed to do in any public park. But if you molest kids with Jeffrey Epstein, you're moved to a luxury prison and considered for a pardon. You mean Ghislaine Maxwell? One, initially that was done because she was going to give names. She never gave names, so she should be put in general fucking pop. So I agree with that point. But originally, yes, she was going to give names. But I really think there's too many high up important names, like Prince Andrew and whoever really runs this country, involved in there, named as perpetrators in the Epstein files, not just written in there because, I mean, where else do you write about your arch nemesis but be your diary? Anyway, sorry, the Krasensteins are irritating.
This clip, what the line between being Latino, Latinx, being American is, and again, used it unironically. None of these people are saying this now anyways, and if they are, they do it quietly.
While every young Latino or Latinx's experience is quite different, what I think is the...
My boy Yanuka is on fire lately, man. Do you boycott the Zionist products? Remember, don't be helpful in killing them. And then my boy Yanuka, me about to boycott Palestinian products, remembering they don't produce anything. Exactly. And until Trump was president the second time, all we produced in America of late is excuses and autistic kids. Anyway, continue.
The common thread when you're a Latin American.
That guy just heard it for the first time.
Is that you're sort of you're charged with this question of, are you an American or are you a Latina?
See, and there it is again.
and what is the line, and how much
The shit.
and what is the line,
Hold
and
on.
how much of are you an American or are you a Latina, and what is the line, and
Where
how
was
much
the
of it is this,
accent?
and how much of it
Where's
is
the
that?
line in that?
And talking of Latinx, why are you dressed like a prisoner trying to escape with a spotlight in
Oh, shit,
1920s? You are like the Hamburglar.
The Hamburglar? Yeah.
Don't steal my burgers! I pay for them with my own money!
Why are you dressed like Thursday Adams?
Or a Navy sailor in France.
That's right. I don't understand.
You're a mime. Why are you talking?
Yes. Also, we know that since you do the show Ugly Betty, you put on some weight. Maybe don't wear the horizontal stripes. Speaking of which, if you want to get in better shape, I forgot. Yeah, we did just launch this today at foundationdaily.com. Creatine, the most researched supplement of all time.
Turn that label.
What are you talking about? Is it not right?
Turn other way, other way, go.
There you go.
I mean, it's covered by the actual
And,
promo.
It's become a real trend. We've been using it, what, for 20? You can
And I will say, I'm going to look into it, but I need a good, steady, cheap source of pure creatine. So I'm going to check into his formula. I might actually imbibe in it a bit.
you can trust.
Your
Here's the next.
grandfather used Vitalis in his hair.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, Vitalis. There was Groom and Clean. Here are some politicians who unironically used Latinx. So you remember that? Latinx was a thing. They tried to make it a thing.
I've had the chance to meet with Latinx leaders in places like Iowa, Nevada, and California.
Vaccine skepticism in New Jersey was highest among Black and Latinx residents.
No matter where I connect with Latinx communities, one thing is certain.
Why is she always in the middle of all this shit also?
Latinx families are feeling squeezed to the breaking point.
Over the last few years, there's been a wonderful group that has developed called Latinx.
Latinx
It's a group that's developed. It's not anything that existed before because it's not real. Latinos and Latinas. Latinos and Latinas. Come on.
4% of them. American problems.
People sometimes like to make a lot of drama over the term Latinx. But even before Latinx, people were
It doesn't even fit well. Latinx.
do this like use an at to have the A and the O
Her
together.
mom just disowned
When I
her.
become president,
You can't do the accent and say the X as an American.
Exactly.
It has a different sound in Spanish. You
hard as well to get Latinx vaccinated as well. They're worried that they'll be vaccinated and deported.
And you'll see they're very, very
And that was
few
pretty
newer
much the
clips.
last
So people say
time that
everything
anyone
is the
heard.
same. We're going to go through all of these trends, the Me Too, all this stuff, right? Everyone putting up their black boxes when there was on their social media profiles. Well, now Black Lives Matter is seen rightfully as a joke. This is huge progress culturally as far as that Overton window shifted. But yeah, I love it. Latinx, it's like, it's just, why even do it? It's like, yeah, the Latin tranny.
What?
It's a Latin freak show.
How do they say X in Spanish, Alexandria?
Latinx?
It's not Mexico, it's Mexico.
Aye.
Oh.
Latinx.
Latinx.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you do that?
It's just so funny to hear that, like the code swapping, whatever they call it when you change your
Code
accent.
switch,
Yeah.
It's Latinx.
Right. Yeah, exactly right. So let me know which.
Mexico. Exactly.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, that's an erect Latin man.
That's right. That's right.
Sounds like my pool boy.
When I see Eva Longoria, not now, but like back in the day, I get Y.
What the fuck?
I turn French.
You
What
get
other
what?
woke trends do you want to see us
By
make?
the way,
fun
have you
of?
seen a full plan of AOC? She a lot of tight shots. When you pull back, she put on some size.
I
I
don't
like it.
I-
You keep
Put
it
on
down
some
over there,
size.
old man.
That's
I like it.
okay. There are still many of us who get Y. What other woke trends do you miss making fun of and want to see us make?
Canceling of random things and giving it to the white supremacist movement that wasn't really moving. Things like milk and the OK symbol.
Make fun of here ourselves. Let me know, because I'm so glad that it's largely died. Sure, it exists in corporations, sure, it exists in Hollywood, but now at least the disconnect is very clear. This has been, remember woke?
I remember.
The best a man can get.
Climate change is having a disproportionate effect on black communities.
You may be one of the
Okay.
6 million.
So we're going to get in a little bit of this. I saw this yesterday and was greatly excited. KnightFall started off as one of the better stories from like the 80s, I think it was. Might have been 90s. Of Batman, and then it ended so horribly, but let's see how it goes here. Remember when DC made an animated movie and you knew it was going to be glorious? And then the Killing Joke happened.
Batman, you haven't slept since Arkham exploded 2 days ago. Maybe we should ask John Paul for help. His training is coming along.
We're all that stands between those inmates and the fall of Gotham.
They say you are the greatest detective. And yet you did not see this coming.
And yet you did not see this coming. So, they really need to do Bane justice, and this will probably be as close as we get to it.
I intend to break you. Then give it your best shot. Let chaos reign in Gotham.
We have to help Batman.
Jean Paul. Because that's what we need, a blonde Batman.
Suit up.
Well, that's a gritty new look for the Dark Knight. Something.
I always like the ones where there's more villains. It's always some of the better stories.
Else is going on out
Well, potentially.
Come get some.
Anytime you bring Nightwing out.
The guilty must pay.
Has the potential to be fantastic.
Call me crazy, but it's hard
You're
to believe
crazy.
any Democrat can claim to believe in the Constitution or law and order at this point in time. It used to be about really terrible interpretation of the Constitution at the Supreme Court.
Real quick, I think this would be the perfect umbrella for something Brooke-themed. It's just like, can I see your panties? Anyway, sorry, I've been watching a lot of One Piece lately. It's pretty much all I've been watching besides political things, and it's glorious. Since March, I've already burned through. I just ended Whole Cake Island. It's amazing.
Court level. But now, leading candidates for the presidency are endorsing a total overhaul of Congress and the courts without blinking an eye. But here's the latest from the crazies like Tim Walz in Minnesota and Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson in Illinois anyway. According
Retards.
to Politico, a federal judge has now thrown out a DOJ grand jury subpoena aimed at Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and his allies, calling them an abusive and retaliatory process to punish Walz based on his refusal to assist the president's immigration crackdown. U.S. District Judge Patrick Schultz.
No, the refusal to carry out your own laws, federal and state level laws. Again, this is the same people who will shit on rich people who have loopholes because they don't understand, one, how rich people make money or why they're worth so much, or the very tax bills that they themselves put into law. Tired of streaming to zero? I am, but I appreciate the engagement, but, fuck off. Politely. But no, they don't understand how people make money. They don't understand the very laws that they themselves write. And this is why Democrats, as much as they say that they care about people in general, especially the poor or the middle class, they don't. They put laws in place to try to tax the shit out of the rich, but since the rich, a lot of the rich, not just movie stars, and this is why movie stars don't understand a fucking thing unless they do something besides acting. Unless they themselves invest or are entrepreneurs on top of them being actors. They don't understand that a lot of your wealth, especially when it comes to, owning great percentages of stock within a company, you tend to write yourself kind of an allowance, more or less, or a salary. And that's what you live off of there. Everything else you have like tax write-offs, whether it be a boat, a plane, or whatever the fuck you need. especially if it's a work expense, you can do all kinds of things with the tax code that these fuckers have written. And I know all this as a very poor person. I've been poor my whole life, and I know as a poor person that we pay the least amount of taxes of anyone. Why? Because if you have kids, then you're literally getting back more than you paid in on your taxes every year. Pretty much ever since 2008. Pretty much. Roughly around that time. You're getting sometimes double what you put in, depending on how much you make. People I know, relatives of mine, always put it to great use, and this is why the poor stay poor, is because we do not use money well. We will get a big sum of money, and instead of paying anything off or making your established life any better, you'll get a car that you can't afford, or move into a place that you can't afford once this money runs out. Like Carmelo Anthony's family. They used all the money to move into a better neighborhood, get security, and get better rides. And then they didn't have any money to put forth, for the kid, the reason that they got all this in the first place, the murderer that they raised. Sorry, this kind of thing pisses me off. And it taxes the middle class, the ones that every single president has claimed to want to build up. The middle class, pretty much every single term in my lifetime, at least in my adult life. Infuriating.
So there was no doubt the subpoenas were issued to damage walls. Now, remember, the original criminal investigation was into the Minnesota government for helping to facilitate resistance to ICE. That's what this was all about. Tim Walz, of course, trying to proclaim himself a constitutional hero. He put out a statement suggesting today's ruling is a victory for the rule of law in our democracy. Yes, nothing says rule of law, like you praising and fostering people legitimately attempting to obstruct law enforcement efforts. An independent judiciary, he says, is a pillar of our democracy. It's one reason why the U.S. has been that shining city on the hill for nearly 250 years. It's always fun to me when Democrats who are routinely fighting against rule of law then go hide behind the flag as soon as they are called on it. Minnesota, by the way, filled with all sorts of governmental malfeasance. The Minnesota Attorney General, Keith Ellison, was asked a question about massive fraud in Minnesota, and he objects. No, there's no fraud. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Everything's fine. Don't look.
If you ask the newspapers for a forensic accounting, the number you mentioned is tightly identified with people of a very unique political persuasion aligned with the Trump administration. So I'm done talking to you. Bye-bye.
No, I just wanted you to clear up the number. I'm not quoting. I'm quoting several reports.
I get it. It's wrong though. And if you're a real reporter, you should know that.
I will report that you're saying it's wrong.
Getting very, very offended by questions about fraud that definitely exists over in Minnesota. Meanwhile, next door over in Illinois, the mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, he is declaring a trans-femicide state of emergency.
What?
I don't even know what that means. A trans-femicide state of emergency, which I guess is that transgender people are being murdered, which in some sort of violent outbreak. Again, the statistics do not support this. Trans-femicide. We're just making up words now.
Yes.
So that's cool. A mayoral working group, according to the Chicago Sun-Times, focused on anti-trans violence, released its first report on Tuesday with recommendations for city agencies to create a long-term strategy to remove structural barriers for trans people. What, like fences or what? There's structural barriers. Apparently, they want a number of policy changes, of course. Harmeet Dillon over at the Civil Rights Division of the DOJ, she's like, what the hell are you talking about? What is happening right now? She said, reminder that all Chicagoans are entitled to the equal protection of the laws. If Chicago uses this inchoate gibberish theory to preference government spoils to trans-identifying people or subordinate women's rights, civil rights will investigate and take action if appropriate, which, of course, is exactly correct. But listen, in the end, what this is really about is that the left increasingly just does not like America. America's terrible, it's horrible, it's no good, it's very bad, it's mean, it's cruel, and all the rest. Every generation of Americans inherits something precious. The freedoms we enjoy, the opportunities we pursue, those things were preserved by people willing to sacrifice on behalf of others. Men and women who put on a uniform and anthem. It's also why Pure Talk is partnering with America's About by joining Pure Talk. You know, it's hilarious to me that Chicago has lots of time to talk, apparently, about trans-mergencies, trans-femicide state of emergency. We're just making up words now. But again, very little time to talk about gang violence in Chicago over Juneteenth, 38 people were shot, 7 fatally. And Mayor Brandon Johnson should have some higher priorities than the quote-unquote trans femicide.
He does, making sure people know that it's not his
I don't
fault.
even know what he trans femicide.
Come on, man, this is
trans
Chirac.
Women in a homicide, spate, genocide. What are we talking about? In any
What's Chirac? It's what people I know who have been to or are from Chicago call Chicago Chirac.
Illinois, not a well-run state, but they've got their priorities straight. Governor J.B. Pritzker, who has his eyes squarely on the presidency. I know it's delusional, but this is how he thinks. He's out there suggesting that it's his job to keep the National Guard out of Illinois. Whatever you do, don't let law enforcement in there to actually enforce the law. That would be bad, according to J.B. Pritzker.
We took Donald Trump to court to keep National Guard out of our state, and we won. With Republicans stripping away SNAP benefits, we passed
For
a
illegals.
budget that offers families that are losing their food assistance real help.
Illegals.
When Republicans tried to strip away diversity initiatives and erase black history, we
That didn't
countered
happen.
by increasing our diverse representation and enacting a nation-leading law to expand the teaching of black history in our schools.
How about we do it not just in a month? We just kind of incorporate it in with regular history and just call it a fucking history. Like what are we talking about?
Is supposed to simply continue not to enforce the law in some way, shape, or form. But it's ICE that's actually keeping people safe. Again, the outsized rage at ICE is beyond me. I do not understand it. I understand if you didn't like the prior leadership of ICE. I get it if you think that the tactics ICE was using were misplaced, but ICE is not the enemy here. According to
And ICE has had the same leadership since the Obama days. And yes, the same person who is now the border czar, so to speak.
Fox News, a former Illinois teacher living in the U.S. illegally, who was allegedly involved in a 2024 Tren de Aragua mass shooting that killed 3 people at a Chicago house party, was arrested by federal officials said on Monday. This person entered the United States in October 2021 under the visa waiver program, naturally, and was supposed to leave by January 2nd, 2022. And she didn't leave. I know, you're shocked. It turns out that when illegal immigrants come here, and then we waive their visas, and then they just stick around, they don't tend to show up for their court hearings or their deportations. I know, these are all very shocking things. Apparently, on the night of December 2nd, 2024, this former Illinois teacher, working with Tren de Aragua, drove 2 gunmen to the scene of a crime where 5 people were injured in addition to the 3 fatalities. The fact that for Democrats, the big problem is the federal government enforcing the law, and their great demonstration of their own commitment to law and order is to block ICE. It really is insane. How much of the Democrats seem very committed to law and order when they can hide behind regulations or federalism in order to ensure that the law is never enforced. There's another federal case that came out yesterday in which a judge, whose name is, I kid you not, Sparkle, that is her first name.
What the fuck?
Her name is Sparkle Suknanand.
Okay, 2 things. 1, no one whose first name is Sparkle should hold any kind of office ever. I don't care. I don't care. Get it changed. You work Also, the last name, I can't remember what it is because I'm very short-term memory at the moment because of the painkillers. That I can't remember what it was. Sukunen? Also, you can't have that name and be.
Down the Trump administration's database that contains Social Security numbers and voter citizenship status. This database was supposed to be used by the states in order to go after purging the voter rolls of people who aren't citizens. Well, this Judge Sparkle, which again sounds like, it sounds like a Barbie doll that my sisters would have bought in 1997.
It sounds like the retarded 4th Powerpuff Girl.
Sparkle. So apparently, Judge Sparkle Suknanand, an appointee of former President Biden, who's been in the United States, I believe, for a total of 7 years, something like that, said that officials across numerous government agencies, according to The Hill, haphazardly combined and repurposed the private information of millions of Americans, including citizenship data they knew to be unreliable, in order to comply with President Trump's executive order attempting to overhaul the federal elections. Again, what that order did was it required the federal government to establish a list of eligible voters based on citizenship data. So apparently she says that this is in violation of the law and that it violated privacy rights. I'm not sure why that would be. She says that it violated the Social Security Act, Privacy Act, an Administrative Procedure Act. She said it protects millions from baseless investigations and unlawful voter roll purges. But again, I'm confused. This means that presumably you will leave people.
Well,
on the
that's
line
just because
who
you don't
are
sparkle,
illegal,
Ben.
who are legally registered to vote. Why is that a good thing? It's always funny when the law intervenes.
the
for
goy
Democrats,
beam.
It's usually to protect criminals or potential criminals. What an amazing video you just watched.
Was it, though? Hold on.
And people are losing their minds trying to sabotage the reflecting pool. Looks like the park police are using plainclothes informants to catch people.
Hold on, sorry. What is happening?
I just launched the brand new Hammer Elite app available on every major.
Okay.
Hey, what's up, guys? Riff here. So in this video, we're going.
And look, we don't have to go over this whole thing. I just want to do this. Okay. So the ADL puts out a slur doesn't stop being a slur because teenagers started using it. Today's New York Times on language column treats the anti-Semitic slur goy slop as a fun linguistic curiosity rather than what it is, a term rooted in white supremacist conspiracy theories. Normalizing this kind of language is dangerous. Goy slop is not just edgy slang. It combines goy, the Hebrew word that colloquially refers to non-Jews, with slop to promote a conspiracy theory that Jewish people deliberately poison non-Jews with cheap food to keep them docile. I've never heard that. The only time I've ever heard goy slop is in reference to news, and it's usually tongue-in-cheek. And also, how is it anti-Semitic to use a word that you use, the ADL, to classify people who aren't Jewish? I don't know. I personally don't care, because like my buddy, hold on. And then Shuan said, so Shu said something. I think it's in this post
over
here.
A very interesting situation involving Shuan Head, Asmongold, and countless internet users who are criticizing a recent decision to designate a particular phrase as a slur. When it comes to organizations that have the power or the perceived power to designate certain things as hateful, there's a lot of free speech implications, and a lot of people call into question why we're even tolerating this sort of thing in the first place. And when people like Shuan Head would mock and criticize this recent decision, her reply was hidden by the ADL, the
and this is the main reason I'm going to watch it, because I can't find it anywhere.
To mark certain things as hateful or slurs or what have you.
Hold on.
You can see their previous line of work a few years ago designating Pepe the Frog.
And it's because a few people were using it in anti-Semitic or racist memes, but Pepe was one of the most universally used memes of all time, pretty much. He was everywhere. And then he popped up on the Deplorables Act because people don't understand the internet or saw him more than once in, let's face it, in memes made by the Southern Poverty Law Center and people who were in their employ through means on the books or just outside the books.
As a hate symbol, feels bad, man. But you can see the absolute ridiculous nature of some of the things that they do. Now, there was a possible moment of redemption for this group back a few months ago when they were targeting Hassan Piker. But unfortunately, they looked like paper tigers. They never actually did anything to Hassan Piker, who really was the golden boy for whatever they were trying to do, but they really let that one slip through the cracks.
Eat my dust, small head.
They continued their amazing work just yesterday targeting PUBG, stating that their online gaming leaderboard showed that they haven't implemented basic protections to keep human players safe from anti-Semitism and extremism. Now, this would get mocked endlessly, but this was not the viral.
And again, people who put shit like this out don't understand internet gaming. But if we tell them about the mute buttons, then we can't make monies. Activate the goy beam.
Post that everyone's recently talking about. That post was talked about by Shoeonhead, and it seems like they have a particular bone to pick with her.
Sorry, I'm
because
enjoying
they
this.
selected her reply.
Bimbo
and decided to
populist.
hide it
She's
because it was
awesome.
ratioing them into the shadow realm. Now, here's the post in question. It says, "Today's new language with a sheep and white supremacists. No amount of teenage adoption changes that origin. Such terms spread negative stereotypes and conspiracy theories. Their normalization is exactly what the bigots who coined them aspire to be." And here you can see their definition. And then the 11 million views on this tweet that clearly went viral, but not for the reasons the ADL was hoping. Despite having
Which is
11
currently
million views,
at
it only
11.5
has
million.
1,900 likes and over 2,000 quotes, mostly dunking on them, but only 82 replies.
Mostly.
Well, that's because they locked the replies. True free speech advocates right here. They didn't like what people are saying, so of the 82, they basically hid almost
Like, you can't even reply to replies on here.
all of them, including Shoeonhead's response. But yeah, to hide replies on Twitter, you have to manually do that with every single reply, which is quite the effort, but it just shows they don't want any feedback. So here's what Shoeonhead said in response. Wait. Goy, the Hebrew word that refers to non-Jews. So you have your own little slur for us, but we're bad for using it ourselves. LMFAO. You can see she got 34,000 likes versus their 1,800 likes. A brutal.
It's not a bad point. It's not a bad point. And then you can see, hold on, we'll let him say.
But the ratio was so bad that they decided to hide her reply. A complete white flag waving of defeat right here when you hide someone's replies, and they still brutally ratio. The ADL hit to hide someone's reply.
And especially, you see right, you see right here, 10 million views to her 500,000 views. They have just under 2,000 likes. She's got 34,000 likes. Massive ratio. Okay. She's got nowhere near as many views. 1/20th. Is that right? Yeah, 1/20th of the views. And she's circled them by like 17 times. Good morning, Shapeshifter. It's good to see you. Sorry for the unforeseen hiatus.
Ratio, but the ratio was so bad that they decided to hide her reply. A complete white flag waving of defeat right here when you
and you can see right here where she says the ADL hid my reply. Can you believe this is how can you believe this? How could they be so mean to the birthday girl? And then Yanuka says, anyway, there's no reason to get offended by Goy more than being called Gaijin by Japanese, and if you disagree, then you are just as bad. Which I agree. I don't get offended by it, and I usually use it like Gaijin Goomba refers to himself as Gaijin all the time. It just means outsider. The only time I get offended, throat's fine. It's been more a dental problem. My teeth and jaw has been just throbbing lately, giggity, and I'm on so much BC powder right now that I can't feel my face at all. And it's not just because I'm with you and I love it. Anyway, but no, when I was living in Hawaii, when I was stationed out there, I had a half black, half white friend out there living with me. She was gay. And I was dating someone who was from Madagascar. Giggity, giggity, goo. And her best friend, also from Madagascar. Just one day out of the blue, they all started calling me Howley, which just is another word for outsider. Doesn't mean white. It usually refers to white people in most of these situations, but it just means outsider. And I'm like, okay, well, none of y'all are from here, so we're all Howleys. And I don't care. Half white, half black. I don't care. But biracial, whatever. Quadrupeds, quadraracial, multiracial. I don't care. But they started referring to me as this, and the only reason it offended me personally is because they're all Hallies too, and I'm just like, okay, we're all Hallies. He's like, no, it means white people, and I wasn't offended because they were calling me Howley. I was offended because they're idiots. The same way that I had to explain to someone, you can't have more than one point of view. That's your point of view. That's why there's really no plural of it, unless you're talking about several people have different points of view. But you can't say Alice has many points of view. It doesn't make any sense. And another thing, it makes me crazy when Ben Shapiro, like, I know data or data is technically plural, but it sounds really stupid when you say the data are in. The data are in. It doesn't sound right. The data's in. The data is. The data was. And then the data were. It makes no fucking sense. But anyway.
To better combat anti-Semitism. None of these are funny, and anyone laughing is a horrible person with various examples.
And let's see what these are. Goy Nip, an exciting event or thing that keeps the attention of people who are considered goy. Goy slop, the type that is indulgent and unhealthy. That's not the only, that's not the definition that I've seen employed. Of course, I've only ever seen Fuentes and Nux talk about goy slop, honestly, and a few other people. Goy beam, Nux, come on. Military action using particle weapons, usually related to Israel. Yeah. Goy cattle, worse than goy, even dumber, even more servile. Definition pending. Goy looping. What the fuck? But anyway, continuing on to recent events in Canada.
It's the fourth one, to my recollection, in the city of Montreal in my lifetime. Did you guys know that? Check the references. We make them available every show. We stream weekdays, 11 a.m. Eastern. Is there another American city where you can go, wait a second, 4 mass shootings in the same zip code? I can't think of one. Obviously, Bloods and Crips and gang shootouts notwithstanding. So yesterday, this shooting took place, I believe, in the Côte de Neige neighborhood in Montreal, if I'm not mistaken. We'll go through the details. Each one is worse than the last.
A Montreal police officer, a civilian, and a suspect are dead Monday after a shootout between a commercial residential building and a hotel next to Décarie Boulevard and Courtrai Avenue. Witnesses we spoke to said they saw the shootout between the gunman and police officers take place on the ground, one seeing a police officer go down and that the shooter had what appeared to be a rifle. According to the SPVM, the shooting
What
began
appeared to be
around
a rifle.
11:35
We don't know what
a.m.
these are.
Montreal Police Chief Fadi Daguerre has confirmed that at this point there was only one suspect, the suspect who died, who was involved in the shooting.
So let me give you what we know, what we don't, and then we'll get to the manifesto, and it's possibly the worst one ever. One officer was killed, 34-year-old Mohammed Lamine Ben Redouane, if I'm getting that correct. Yeah. Obviously, our prayers go out to the family there. One civilian was killed, Michael Mizrahi, who was very likely, we'll get to some footage, shot by the female officer.
Not likely, he was. He absolutely was.
Well. And then the shooter, of course, was killed by police. So,
but not the one that killed the other guy.
4 shootings in Montreal. The ones that I'm going off of,
Spoilers.
89 was École Polytechnique. 14 were dead, 13 were injured. Concordia University shooting in 92. 4 were dead, 1 was injured. Dawson College, I had friends in that college at that time. 19 injured, but only 1 dead, which is kind of remarkable. It was something where people were defenseless, and honestly, the shooter was just bad. Yeah. He was just a bad shot. Thank God that he was. Outside of the United States, from 2000 to 2025, there have been 99 mass shootings across what you would consider developed countries, first world countries. So this idea that it only takes place in the United States, that's not true. And I would expect it to get worse. Also, I don't care if it's a mass shooting or a mass stabbing or someone uses a car. My primary gripe is with evil and those who use violence to carry it out. But the argument as it stands doesn't work. There are mass shootings in other countries.
Well, I mean, sorry, in the chat, I ain't watching Toy Story 5 Woke Slop. I hear it's still, as far as most of the slop goes, the goy slop, it's still pretty good. Not the best Toy Story, of course, by far. Probably I've heard some people say that it was better than the fourth one. It's an extension of Jesse's story, which was completely told in Toy Story 2. Fun fact, that was supposed to be straight to DVD, but they said it was way too good compared to all of the rest of Disney's shitty straight to VHS and DVD sequels, that they put it in theaters, and it was a huge success. But yeah, it tells the rest of Jesse's story, which has already pretty much been told. Didn't need to be told again. I agree. Toy Story 3 would have been a good stopping place. 4, arguably, still a pretty good stopping place, even though that was more to do with Bo Peep than, the rest of them. But it was still pretty good for what it could have been, considering what they've done with other sequels, The Incredibles. But yeah, I've heard, as far as a lot of this stuff goes, as long as it's not to the Lightyear level of shit, then count our blessings. But I also will not be paying money to see this one. I've seen all the other 4 in theaters at least once. The first one I saw quite a bit more than once. I really liked the second one. I watched the third one once. And fourth one once. Took family members.
And we are not at the top of any of these lists. So, here's what we also know. And I know what people are going to say. Uvalde, and no one was more critical of police there than us.
Very harsh.
You'd get police, male and female, all the time who make mistakes, who are not trained very well. That's why we discussed I believe it was Columbus police chief, who said that, citizens, they don't have enough training with guns, like the average police officer in many departments only use.
Oh, and just so, Yanuka, if you're watching, I'm not offended by the word goy. I think it's funny. Because I watch Ducks, and, the goy beam. We're going to watch some goy slop today. I'd rather rewatch Wreck-It Ralph like I always do, my personal favorite. Wreck-It Ralph was really good, and I've got really amazing memories that I can't get into here on the stream about seeing that movie for the first time. Sorry, I got lost in thought. The second one left a lot to be wanting, though.
Only go through 50 rounds a year in training, so that's not lost on me. However, before we get to the discussion of better training for all officers, can we also eliminate certain outliers that don't need to be included? Meaning, would we be safer if we didn't have female officers, period? Sure, there will be bad male police officers, but in dealing with the starting point, women shouldn't be cops. Aren't you tired of pretending like they should? Now, it's not just that they're physically weak and can be overpowered, and their only option is to go to a firearm, right?
No, Vanellope is definitely one of the better Disney princesses.
More rapidly than, say, someone like Gerald.
Yeah.
Their only tool is going to be a mechanical advantage. They are a female officer, don't care how tough she is never, ever going to subdue a male, let alone one on PCP who's slightly above average in size. What we seem to see here, and we have clips from multiple angles, we want to point out to you what's going on, is this female officer mistook a bystander for the shooter. Looks like she shot him, and then after that ran away, which left others exposed. Basically the worst way you could handle it, and I get that these officers have difficult situations. Here's the breakdown. That's someone watching. Female officer is behind the barrier.
Holy shit.
You'll see her.
Okay, so this is the shooter.
The shooter, there's the female officer.
Did she shoot him more than once? Okay, that was definitely one. Did she shoot him 3 times? She's literally the coolest. She's a tomboy. She's a car racer. She lives in candy-themed land, and she glitches to the forts. No. Sorry, still talking about Vanellope from Wreck-It Ralph. No, she's amazing. See, and that's and that's the part that, look, if she had accidentally shot the guy 1 time, and I'm not saying she absolutely shot him all 3 of those shots, but she made the same motion for the most part. All 3 times you heard the gunshots at the dude, and then the actual shooter runs around, and she runs, and she doesn't shoot the fuck. Probably because she unloaded out on that poor civilian.
Yeah, so it's chaotic. And maybe we could get the aerial angle if we have it, of where she allegedly, potentially shoots the bystander, because that's a little bit clearer.
No, she absolutely shot the bystander.
He didn't act in a way that would be in accordance with self-preservation, I would say.
No.
But she reacted, startled. That's a big thing, reaction time, the difference between men and women. Let's get into this, because if you are in a fire, in the 3rd story, be honest. You want to see a medium-sized lady show up? If you're dealing with a violent perp in your house, who's on drugs, you want to see an average-sized woman show up? Let's just be real about this. And let's get to the studies reflect this time and time again. They've looked at male units versus mixed units. Not just male units versus female, male units versus mixed units. And the all-male units are faster, more accurate. They get injured less. They are far better, actually, at acting in a coordinated form of movement, working as a unit, working as a team. This is something that
this is true.
Anyone who's been in any type of organized sports, or very likely the military, would know. It's a better dynamic the more homogenous it is, particularly as it relates to gender. We have study after
and even in height and weight and general body chemistry. Most of the best teams are all within an inch or 2 of each other in height.
Study, even if, I will say, that the men's personal training regimen can be seen, rightfully, as questionable.
What the fuck?
It works.
And you're still no better at the haka dance.
Well, it's,
and you practice.
Haka, haka,
You
haka.
didn't practice, but you practice, and it's still offensively bad.
It's like making balloon animals. It takes time.
I thought it was good. I was intimidated.
All right.
No one wanted to be around him, that's for sure.
That's true. That's absolutely true. So there you go. When it comes to female officers having to deal with perps, they are less effective. They're significantly more injured, far more often. And, big indicator that's very important. People talk about women in the gym. Some women will be able to train a movement. Females in general.
High on drugs in the comments. Not
is just something that cannot be overcome, and it's a rate-limiting factor in a lot of physical altercations, barring hyperly technical training. 95% of men have greater grip strength than nearly all female athletes trained specifically in grip-centric sports. It's just they also have failed far more often standard pistol qualifications under realistic training scenarios, particularly if there's a heavier trigger pull weight, which is standard in many police units. As far as reaction time, men have much faster reaction times, to be clear, especially under stress. That's the primary difference between the male and female brain, this myth of multitasking. It's not, people can't really multitask. Women often have more neural flexibility to go from one task to another, which appears as multitasking. Men are better at locking in on one, even during times of stress.
Better at the lock
it's not like these other societies that didn't have access to books, to libraries, to data, to scientific information. It's not like they missed it when they said, okay, men are better hunters. Men are better going out there where they are likely to be killed. They react better.
They are so much
So
better.
we want them to do that, and we want the women to be in the village doing things that are important, but maybe more tasks that are lower stress. They're more effective at that. That's something that everybody knows.
It's
but
amazing.
For some reason, in the name of equality, we've put women into positions where they just biologically are incapable of, at large, being as effective as men.
Well, I mean,
The
some of
result,
them are at-large women, yes.
more people die, more accidents happen, more lapses in judgment. Just the injury rates alone. Like if you look at females in the Army, they're 67% more likely to be discharged for some type of physical injury.
No, I completely agree. And that's for pretty much any security force. Are there women who can kick ass? Yes. But they're the exception, not the rule. Okay, not everyone is Brienne of Tarth. Some of them are the little Jewish girl from Captain America 4.
Skeletal disorder. If you look at, that's in the Army specifically. If you look at Marine females, 100% more likely to be injured while bearing loads. What are we doing here? I've been talking about this for a very long time, and it's one of those situations where when I talk with people in real life, it's incredibly rare to even hear a woman go, well, I think that women should be cops. I think that women should be on the front line. So you're going, who is pushing this?
Yeah.
Let alone, it's now the norm.
Women that look like
it's
this.
always about being allowed to do something. It's like, should we look a little bit past that? Like, do we really want that? So let's take this female cop. I think she's probably going to be a very...
Not only can they not overpower male perps, but society will be even more unsafe. No, 100%. 100%. If someone shows up and they're 5 feet fucking tall, first of all, there should be a minimum height on police. And I think that height should be 5'8" or 5'9". Probably 5'9", minimum. And there should be a strength challenge. You should be able to fireman carry an average 6 foot tall, 210-pound person for at least such and such feet. If you can't do that, and I know women who can do it. I know someone who will, if I ever become famous, will definitely be on my security team. It's a friend of mine's daughter. She's gay, and she's very beefy, and she's the coolest young adult ever. And she kind of looks like a Cabbage Patch doll became a lesbian.
Let me put it this way. She's almost 100%
Human's what I meant.
Less safe around other people in this situation. She's not going to be able to secure people easily. She's not going to be able to subdue a suspect or cover her partner as well. Even if it's a 7 to 10% difference, that's enough, right, in this situation. So it's bad for her, and it's bad for everybody else. I don't want to put her in that situation on top of everybody else in that situation.
Right.
I want to keep her out of that situation. I want a man to go in there and have to do the hard stuff.
You heard Gerald. He wants a man.
Like this, and have to protect other people and potentially die to protect the community. I don't want to send our women into those situations. Why aren't we thinking more on those lines instead of saying, well, just I can do anything a man can do? It's like, well, that's really not the point.
Yeah.
At this
No,
point.
you
And no, you
can't.
can't. But that's really not the point.
Right. It comes down to this, okay? Let's just say we approach police force, military as unselfishly as possible. All right. Take away your political views. Take away what you want to do as far as serving your country. For example, you have some people who want to be pilots, and they can't because they don't have the vision for it, right?
Yes.
Yep.
When you are applying for the police force or military, ask yourself, are you the best person to be doing this job? Or are you taking the spot of someone who could be, it's that simple. Could someone be more physically capable? Is there someone out there who statistically may have a higher aptitude for this type of profession? And if the answer is, yeah, you are actually not the best for this job, and it involves people's lives other than your own, step aside. Make room for the right person. It's not about you. It's not about you. It's that simple. I mean, just the load-bearing stat in the Marines. Like, why are women in the Marines, of all places? The female Marines, that should be an oxymoron. Just like jumbo shrimp. It makes no sense.
Their uniforms fit really nicely.
Well, good. Along with the stretchy...
They do. What do you want from me?
The stretchy maternity flight suits. Yeah, let's spend a few $1 billion on that. Call it progress. Some things are out of your control. From support your shooter. Step away from big banks. Rumble wallet. Well, there's a manifesto from the shooter.
Oh, good. They always do that.
Yeah, and I don't really even want to give you his name, or I certainly don't want to make the person famous, but I do think it's important to know the motivation because the media will misrepresent it. It's not being talked about a lot in American media. That's pretty telling. But even in Canadian media, they will black out certain aspects. So let me just give you the short end of it. The shooter is a communist. Now, he's a communist who's also a black pillar. So they'll try and say he's an incel. They'll try and say he's part of the red pill community. They'll try and say he's part of the manosphere. This person is a communist. He is a Marxist. He's a self-avowed Marxist-Leninist. And he argues that male romance, sexual romantic deprivation are the byproducts of capitalism. So let me read this to you. He says, put it quite simply, capitalism is a system based on the continual profit of a select few people who are the bourgeois class, and it was ultimately the case that the widespread practice of monogamy simply proved to be less monetarily profitable for the bourgeois than hypergamy did. So he's a communist, he's a Marxist. Okay.
He's also a retard.
Then this idea of blackpilling of people who are, actually anti-woman, not people who believe in complementary gender roles, not people who believe in the nuclear family, who believe in traditional views of women and men, but people who have become soured and actually have disdain for women. That's found on both the left and the right, to be clear. That's not a political issue. What is a political issue is radical Marxism, communism, that is distinctly left. You will find plenty of people on the left and the right who are, to use whatever term you want to, misogynist, whatever. So they'll try and attribute this to the right. Don't allow that to happen. Here's something that he writes, and I will say this is, it's very reflective of a lot of these people on the Marxist right. It's nihilism.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do about it, right? Our big gripe with the left has always been, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. It must be some cabal of people. It's the government who has to. There's nothing you can do. You can't work harder. There's no way to improve your circumstance. You need a bailout. You need some kind of a grant. Now you see that on the right. They have a different boogeyman. These people are not on the right. It could be Israel. It could be Epstein. Could be Elon Musk. Could be tech bros. Not to say there aren't legitimate gripes with all of those people, but it comes down, there's nothing you can do to improve your circumstances. That's why the Marxist right. That's where the horseshoe takes place. My life sucks, and none of it is my fault. Some of it isn't your fault. How you deal with it is entirely your responsibility. So here's what he wrote. To obtain this female intimacy, the common male seeks to improve himself. The avenues of improvement which these males enter are...
Oh, by the way, this shootout apparently happened in front of Pornhub Canada's headquarters. I'm reading as I'm scrolling through X. I'm going to verify that. The shootout in Canada where the female cop accidentally shot a rabbi instead of the perpetrator, did that happen in front of Canada's Pornhub headquarters?
The shootout in Montreal, Quebec, where a police officer accidentally shot a rabbi, occurred in a Jewish neighborhood, not in front of the adult website's headquarters.
Interesting. Okay. So another example of why you can't, bro tried to get access to all that porn. Apparently you can't trust everything you read online.
Those which are laid out openly in Western society for any male wishing to socially advance. Namely, things along the lines of becoming wealthier, becoming more cultured, lifting weights, acting more confidently, dressing better, and other similar things which do not alter the core factors that truly decide male attractiveness, which are tall height, just say height, the handsomeness of the face and race, or in other words, things in which fertile females perceive actual genetic quality because they are things which cannot be altered easily in nature. There's some truth to that, but again, there's nothing you can do. You're going to tell me that you will not increase your odds if you actually want a mate, if you actually want to find a wife, and a man who finds a wife finds that which is good. You mean to tell me that getting in better shape, you mean to tell me that basic grooming principles, you mean to tell me that being successful in your professional endeavors, you mean to tell me that being more disciplined, being more articulate, being more confident, having more to offer will improve your chances? None if you're short? Well, it's just not true. Sure, there will be some limitations. It's like saying, hey, you can never be Floyd Mayweather. You can never be Tyson Fury. You can never be Conor McGregor because they have gifts from God. Sure, but you can't become any more capable at defending yourself? Let's eliminate world champion. Let's eliminate Chads, the 6'5", 7-figure incomes, right? Who just have perfect symmetry. Let's eliminate that. Let's eliminate the world champions. You don't think that you can make yourself better than 99% of the population? Let's reduce it. 90? 80? Here's how you know this person is a leftist. They haven't put in the work, if that's what they believe. This is also why it's very, very important for young men to fail and to build themselves up. It's the only way to build actual confidence. And so this is an epidemic of no red pens. This is an epidemic of equalizing the soccer score so that no one's feelings are hurt. Because the only way a young male can develop self-confidence is to get really, really good at something. Any young man who started off unable to bench press the bar and made it to 3 plates, any young man who wouldn't be able to go for a jog without getting winded because
Sorry, bro, trying to get access to all that porn, reading the comments. You can't automatically believe what someone says just because they said so. Like CNN. No, I agree, but I was burning through all these things, and I couldn't remember where I'd seen it. And then by the time I was like, wait, was that someone reputable? It had done that thing where it regenerated, and I couldn't, no matter how much I scrolled, I couldn't find the original post. I hate that. Have you ever opened up social media, whether it be Facebook or Instagram or X or whatever you're on, and you see something, you're like, oh, that's really interesting, and then it loads whatever is current, and then you can't find it no matter how much you scroll. I hate that. Always click on it the second you see it.
they were obese and then got down to 12% body fat, was healthier, able to play with his kids. Any man who's ever become strong, who has ever progressed through years and had something to show for it, will tell you that this is untrue. We don't have enough young men doing that. And so they just say, none of it means that, none of it's going to make a difference.
Yeah, and also, how long did he try? Do we know the age of the shooter right now? Is that something that was given out? I'd love if they can have that, bring it in. But how many years did you go through this process? How many decades did you go through the process of trying to make yourself better, trying to find good things in life to become a more attractive mate to potentially somebody else? How often did you say, I'm not giving up? Like, because when I found my wife, I believe I was 38 years old when we met.
Yeah.
Not ideal. And I'm 6'4". I played college football. I had my own business at the time.
It's his personality.
That's like
yeah, get ladies drunk. It's easy.
Yeah, that's not what
everything's easier.
Yeah,
after
get a little bit of cheese.
After a little bit of yellowtail.
You know, it's a little bit. It's kind of a cool. So
you mean Asian
can
ass?
fail for a lot of different reasons, and you can fail for a very long time. It's this idea that, okay, well, I'm failing at this stuff, and so instead of trying to get better, instead of persevering, I'm just going to say that the world is terrible, and I'm going to go shoot people because of it.
Well, you know, here's a good example. And I say this, I don't say this to pat myself on the back, I say it to praise you. Gerald is a freak athlete, okay? Gerald was so good at football that other kids were actually recruited to D1 schools because every major D1 school that you'd want to join in the country was recruiting Gerald. Gerald, that's a statement of fact, right? You went to Notre Dame.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
I didn't do a whole
You
lot
have
of
one of the fastest shuttle runs
Oh,
there.
God help us. A feminist actress, Elizabeth Banks, cast as Miss Frizzle in live-action Magic School Bus movie. Do we really need that movie? I will say it does have Detective Pikachu's director, and that was pretty good. So visually, this movie will be decent. Let's see who scripts it.
There too for a guy your size. I am by no means any type of genetic athlete. I didn't get it. That being said, we also went in a few times you were training and grappling. Yeah. And I knew that with a year's training, you'd be a problem, but it would maybe take 30 seconds for me to handle you on any given day in that endeavor.
Especially under the table.
We did it once, but with your natural gifts, right?
See, they did it
I'm
once.
able to surpass. I will never be as good as you would be had you trained that because of your genetic gifts. I will be better than 90% of the population.
Yeah.
That makes a difference if we're now talking about the odds out with the general public, and I have to defend.
Okay, real quick. Wow, the nuclear math bomb Elon Musk just lost $350 billion in 1 week from his SpaceX IPO Ponzi scheme. They're calling SpaceX a Ponzi scheme. Let me put that in perspective for you. He takes $38 billion from your tax dollars in government contracts. I'm assuming that's every year. That's $104 million per day, $370 million per week, $3.1 billion per month, and of course $38 billion per year. So yes, per year. And what did he do with it? He built $1.775 trillion valuation scam that just blew up and vaporized $350 billion of an investor in 7 days. SpaceX lost $4.3 billion in Q1. Starlink lost $2.5 billion in Q1 and is burning through $14 billion a year. That's because they cost money and they are very helpful to humanity. That's why the government's funding them, because we actually use them. Talk to anyone who's been in a disaster. Talk to the people of Iran. He became the world's first trillionaire, quote unquote, on a fake valuation, then lost $350 billion in a week, while still cashing $104 million of your money every single day. That's not capitalism. That's not innovation. That's the biggest Ponzi scam in American history, and Donald Trump is a co-conspirator. Your tax built his rocket, he stole your 401k, and he's still grifting. So I have no idea what the fuck he's talking about. And Thunderfoot, someone who used to be pretty based, reposted this. I don't know why it's not showing that here. This post is partisan commentary slamming Elon Musk after his claims was lost in a week. Post IPO sell-off reports show sharpening drops erasing hundreds of billions amid volatility after initial surge. Frames cumulative government contracts, mostly competitive. NASA, DoD for okay. Cities, sites, real. Exaggerated rhetoric mixing actual volatility, growth stage losses and contracts with fraud accusations and Trump tie-in. SpaceX has real achievements, reusable rockets, Starlink, but valuations are speculative and losses reflect aggressive investment. So yeah. And again, that's just how the stock market works. That's how your net worth in stocks works. But anyway, let's continue.
And myself, I'm not a world beater by any means. I never would say that I am. But to say it makes no difference?
Right.
So I'd like to actually here offer you guys some hope. And this is where we never want to leave you hanging. It's time for solutions.
Crowda Solutions.
Okay, first one. Get women out of combat and police roles. Just on a pragmatic level. And I've been saying this for a very long time. We have seen too many incidents like this.
Yeah.
Negligent discharges, women panicking. Let's have women do things at which they excel more. We need to start getting back to, no, men are better at this. That's okay. And then as far as you, if you are someone who they would label incel, black pillar, look, it's not complicated. Work on yourself. Spiritually, mentally, physically, and get involved in activities with the kinds of people who are closest to the type of person you want to be. I'll often see this with young people going like, yeah, well, you know, we're no longer a Christian nation. And what are you doing? You're at home playing video games. You're not plugged in with a church. I tried that fitness racket. Well, why aren't you at a gym? This is what people do. It's all, yeah.
I imagined like a tennis racket, but it's you do some kind of weird fitness exercise with it.
Yeah.
Like you're riding it like one of those little pony broomsticks.
Anyone
Sorry,
out there? No,
I didn't mean to derail you there.
Anyone out there? Let's go spiritually. Anyone out there? Comment.
Speaking of which, hobby horsing is still a thing in 2026. I will say some of those high jumps, these girls with fake wooden horse heads are quite impressive. However, I mean, it's still hobby horsing.
Below. Really, this may be helpful for people watching right now. You ever go through like a Bible in a year? You ever do that? I've done it a few times, and then also just done individual Bible studies. You ever have an aha moment when you're reading the Bible and you go, oh, wow, and you highlight it? Add that up hundreds of times and reread the scripture. Do you live by that? Has it improved your life? Has it improved your relationship? That's measurable progress. Mentally, you ever have times where you lose control when you're young, right? You spaz out, temper tantrum. You ever improve it? You ever learn to control yourself a little bit better? You ever, actually just mentally, you ever create a schedule or a routine and stick with it when you didn't have it before? Were you mentally better off? Comment. These things help. You ever lift a weight and it was really heavy and difficult? 2 years later, that's your warm-up? You ever go through that? Anyone who's experienced this, I've experienced all of those, by the way. Can anyone say that those are not defining moments, let alone they don't make a difference? I'll tell you a story with my lady. Again, we were at the water park, and my dad was there with the kids, and he was, because after surgery, I'm not allowed to throw them. They're like, throw me. I'm like, Dad, even though you're well into your 60s, you can do it. I'm not allowed to lift anything right now.
reliever?
Yeah. And he was just launching them to the point where, he had the whistle blown by the lifeguard. And he's like, shut up.
Yeah. I can imagine that. We went to that inflatable park that one time. And your dad got talked to by the teenage referees like 3 times.
I know.
Like, hey, you can't be doing that. He's like,
I think that's what he likes about being older now. He just figures they'll keep asking him but not do anything.
No, they didn't do anything.
Like,
And the kids are fine. Yeah.
Come on, I'm older. And they're like, yeah, but you're jacked. I can't hear you. What? So he was throwing the kids. And my dad looked very studly. And my woman said, like, oh, see, that's why it's genetic. It's genetic. When I see your dad and I see you, it's genetic that, you're the size you are. I said, have you seen the videos that my dad has sent? He's very proud of, like, belt squatting 700 pounds.
Yeah.
She said, yeah, of course. I said, let me ask you, when you've gone to the gym, have you ever trained that intensely? She said, no. I said, so every time that people like my dad and myself are going into the gym, we are training more intensely than you have at any time. That's the old Alexander Carolyn quote. I train every day of my life as my opponent never has a day in theirs. But people will then go, well, it's genetic. In some cases, it is. In some cases, it's very, very hard fought. The only way that a young man develops self-confidence or self-esteem is getting really good at something. Men, comment below and tell me when you figured that out. Every man has had that moment where you go, wait a second, I'm a lot better at this. I can do that? But until you experience it, until you go through sucking and getting better and then eventually looking back and seeing the starting point and how far you've come, you will never have self-confidence. You will never have self-esteem.
Yeah.
And you will always think that everything is outside of your control and you are a victim of circumstance.
I'm a victim of circumstance.
Spiritually, mentally, physically. There is something that you can do. And these aren't small things. These can massively improve your life to the point where if you do this for 1 or 2 years, just every day, read your Bible and get stronger. Let's just do that. Read your Bible, meditate, pray. By that, I just mean, actually focus on things that are good for you. I don't mean sitting there and doing transcendental meditation. It could be focusing on one prayer. It could be mentally planning out your day, visualization, whatever. Read your Bible every day. Just call it 15 minutes a day. Work on your mind, do brain training, Sudoku, I don't care, and get stronger every week compared to the last. Do it for a year, see how much better your life is. Then do it for 2. And see if you even recognize that person from 2 years ago. But there are a lot of young men. There are a lot of young men who feel this way. And you know what? I don't blame them. It's not because these men have had tough breaks. Some have. It's because the world was nerfed for them. And young men cannot develop self-confidence or self-worth by some do-gooder teacher removing the red pen and saying, no, this is great. That doesn't work. That man needs to hear, that young budding man needs to hear, this is awful. You need to do better. They need someone who can encourage them, someone who can hold them to account and give them the tools to improve. Instead, we've removed those tools. We've removed competition as though it's evil. We've removed all of the mechanisms that are needed to develop robust men who believe in themselves and are willing to fight for something. You have a generation of young men who don't believe in themselves and aren't willing to fight for anything at all. I can't see any result outside of this. So this young man was a Marxist, Leninist, which, of course, lends itself right away to it's all out of your control. Someone else has to step in. Big government, big brother, daddy needs to save you, poor you. And by the way, none of it really means anything because there is no God. This is all purposeless. That's the horseshoe. There's plenty you can do. Try it. Try it for a year. Come back and tell me it doesn't make a difference. This has been the solution.
And again, as far as the horseshoes go, especially when it comes to politics, I don't think many of the horseshoe right, quote unquote, were ever actually on the right. I think they were leftist, and most of them admitted to being such.
By the way, thank you for the raid, Dan. Yeah. Well, anything else that you guys wanted to add?
I just wanted to change the finish line too. Like the finish line for you, like the goal, right, is not marriage. That's something that we encourage for people and say that that is a good thing. Like you said, the Bible says a man who finds a wife finds a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
But your primary kind of relationship that you should be working on is with God.
Yeah.
And if you start to pedestalize anything, you put something on a pedestal that shouldn't be there, God can do a lot of things to make sure that you don't mess that up. And so I'm incredibly grateful for the very difficult 20-ish years of being single without a whole lot of prospects during that time, where I did want to start thinking about marriage, that God did not allow that to happen because I was putting that on a pedestal. I would have done it completely wrong. I probably would have had severe difficulties. I probably would have picked horribly early on. And that was to my benefit, right?
Yeah.
Until I started focusing more on God. Well, I need to just be like living my life. I need to be found faithful when you come. Okay, so that maybe I should apply.
Faithful
that.
when
I need
you
to
come.
be found faithful whenever I meet my wife. I'm living life. I'm doing everything that God has asked me to do. I'm not waiting around thinking that life starts at marriage. I'm not waiting around thinking that somebody else completes me. I am fully confident in God, my relationship with God. I'm doing what He's called me to do. And when the time is right, God will bring a wife for me, and I'm doing everything that I should be doing for that. But when you start to say, I'm only trying to achieve that, that's when it gets really out of whack, and people just lose all kinds of hope because of it.
Well, it's saying, it doesn't matter unless you're part of the team.
Yeah,
By the
yeah.
way, statistically, we've talked about this. Women have crazy, unrealistic expectations, right? You can always bring up that chart. They rate 80% of men as below average, which is statistically impossible, whereas men rate women on a perfect bell curve. We are far more lenient, far more gracious, forgiving, and willing to give more women a shot than women are men. That's true. But let's accept it. Let's just accept that premise. Let's say you follow the solution, those prescriptions, and you don't find the woman you want. So you'll be stronger, healthier, more mentally resilient, and very likely wealthier, if at least professionally more fulfilled, personally more fulfilled, without a woman anyway.
Yay.
Does that sound that bad to you? Or just sit and wallow. I'm sorry. It doesn't mean that I don't get it. I've told him. First gym membership.
100%. I know.
12 years old.
Know that I
he
do.
called me titties, and you know what stung? I had titties.
He was right.
I had titties.
I did too. I wore shirts to water parks for a long time.
That's right. What were we saying, Noodle?
I was just going to say, nothing sexier to a woman than self-pity.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, 100%.
Find you
I mean,
sitting
it
on
worked
mom
in the
and dad's
mid,
couch eating
like
Cheetos, playing
2008.
video games. That's what she's looking for, boys.
Right.
Well, people are giving up too soon also.
Way too soon.
Like with Keir Starmer, like there's no shame in quitting. You know, there should be shame in quitting. Like, you can't just quit early without achieving your goals.
It's like, it's all lost anyway. I get it. This idea, like, I will never quit. Well, hold on a second. It's already checkmate, right? I get that.
Yeah.
But people are quitting well before it's time to quit.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, okay, put it this way. Until you've read through the entire Bible once, I'll give you two things. Until you've read through the entire Bible once, and you've achieved a 1,000-pound total, that means deadlift, squat, bench press. 1,000 pounds. Until you've accomplished those two things, you haven't put in much work. Just that. I'll just give you Of course, there could be other metrics. There's a really simple one for mainstream American men. Read the whole Bible, 1,000-pound total. Can be achieved by pretty much all men within a year. Oh, you're still here? And you're still watching this on YouTube? You've probably noticed something is missing.
Female cop responds, she accidentally kills a bystander. He's a rabbi. And Pornhub HQ is a rabbi. Like, what are the odds? What are the odds a female cop kills a bystander at the Pornhub headquarters and it happens to be a rabbi? That's got to be like the funniest headline of 2026. It has a little bit of everything. It just has a little something for everybody. It's like female incompetence, Jews.
It does sound like the start to a joke.
Running porn and incels shooting up the porn headquarters in Canada. So it has a little something for everybody. It just kept getting better and better. Because at first, it's like nobody knows what's going on. It's like there's a mass shooting in Toronto. Oh, and like somebody goes down. It turns out an incel is laying siege to Pornhub headquarters because of hyper.
As opposed to laying seed while watching Pornhub.
Which that's kind of hilarious by itself. He writes this brilliant manifesto. Not to worry, a female cop is on the scene. Uh-oh, she got nervous. Hair trigger, she accidentally shoots somebody.
Well, he had his dick out.
Who does she blow away at Pornhub, at porn headquarters?
Don't say blow away. He's seen this too many times in erotic cinema.
Because of course, if you accidentally blow away a civilian at porn,
Stop saying blow.
It's not only going to be a Jew, but actually a rabbi. So, yeah, it just kept getting funnier. And then it's not funny. Like every day, it's obviously very tragic that an innocent person was killed, but you do have to see there's like, it is a little funny. What are the odds?
But it's like a clown with squeaky shoes is in a car accident, and every time he bounces and hits the ground, all you hear is,
what are the odds that, first of all, it is just funny that female cops are fucking retarded.
I thought he was going to say they exist.
But then what are the odds the female cop responding to the incel shooting, she kills somebody, it's a rabbi, and he gets gunned down in front of porn headquarters? Like, it's layered. There's so many layers to this.
$20.
I actually agree with Shlomo Fuentes here.
Have you heard of the Canadian?
100%. I do. Funny's funny. But anyway, guys, that's going to be all for me for today. Again, sorry about my hiatus. I was actually, my jaw's really starting to hurt. That's why I've been kind of quiet the last 10 minutes. But I appreciate y'all for sticking with me through all this. We're going to keep going. I'll be back on tomorrow, of course. I'm going to the dentist here in about 2 hours is my appointment. So I'm going to go get ready. Y'all have a fantastic day. Wish me luck. Oh, God, I hope I don't have to pay a whole bunch today. But y'all have a fantastic day, and we will see you tomorrow. This is Alfie Animus for the Associated Guests, signing out.